Chess Kid is fun. Chess is great for the brain, but it's also fun to play. And Chess Kid makes it easy to have fun. Whether your child is a total beginner or a prodigy, they can hop on and find a well-matched opponent from around the world at any time. Chess Kid is the safe, parent-approved way for your child to play chess online. Chess Kid is educational. To kids, it feels just like playing, but chess is a great way to learn patience, strategy, and critical thinking. Chess Kid features a comprehensive training program that guides kids to level up on their way to mastery. This curriculum is designed to work with Common Core standards and global educational guidelines. There are more than 50,000 chess puzzles and a whole library of entertaining videos that teach strategies, tactics, openings, and endgames specifically for kids. Chess Kid is easy. Whether you're a parent helping your child, a coach managing dozens of kids, or a school of hundreds, Chess Kid helps you organize your students and monitor their progress. Each child receives a weekly report card that shows how many lessons, puzzles, and games were completed. You can also organize kids into clubs and send them messages. Chess Kid is the online home of scholastic chess for thousands of kids, parents, schools, and coaches. Signing up is free and easy, so what are you waiting for?
helps them focus on the and the next. So they're focusing on the else. They do they're all set. It's already complete. So you don't have to do any what do I teach you? They also have a summer reading program. 1 to 4. It starts this way and goes for the whole summer. And then I get something in August. We have 4 weekends. So take them there that day. It's a good kickoff, and then they'll do the program. It's a reading program throughout the whole summer. Grass kids the stuff on top of, so we stick them down to the workbooks. These workbooks you can get them on Amazon for less than $10. And it's depending on the grade level. There are higher grades. I just kept it up until 6th grade. But like if your kid is in 3rd or 4th, it's like, so this would be a 3rd grade. Going to 4th grade, you choose the third book for that. And the good thing about this is it has all 4 subjects in one workbook. So you're not having to buy a separate reading and a separate math workbook. You just buy one workbook for the whole summer. It's on Amazon, less than $10. So this is one option, it's Brain Plus, and then this is the second option, the Summer Bridge, which is nice too because again, it's all the subjects in one workbook. So you don't have to buy and keep track of 2, 3, 4 different workbooks. You just buy one per kid, and it's skills from their previous year and for the next year. So if you have like a 4th grader going to 5th grade, you choose this one 4 to 5, and they work on this the whole summer and incentivize it. You know, give them a reward if they finish a page, or if they finish the whole book by the end of the summer, you give them a bigger reward. Subtext, like Ms. Alhab said, have them read every day, even if it's just for 10-15 minutes, it's better than nothing. Visit the local library. I highly recommend the one across the street. Kids are already familiar with it, most of them, and just by being a student here, they get access to the library. Have them write, even if it's about maybe you went on a vacation or you went to the park or a new hobby they picked up on, or even about their weekend. As long as they're writing, we want to work on those writing skills, especially because in the fall they lose a lot of their writing. Even their handwriting is completely different than what it was in the spring. Practice math facts. Flashcards are really good with that. Multiplication flashcards, you can get them anywhere. Have them review them, because even the kids now, they get their facts, the multiplication and division facts by the spring, they got them, and then they use it or lose it. So if they're not reviewing it over the summer, they lose it by the fall. There's a lot of good websites out there, but I reduce the screen time. The less they're on the technology, the better. And get them to do outdoor activities, even if it's sports. Anything just so they're not glued so much to the technology. Yep, that's all for me.
Okay, so for my folks with older kids, you're probably going to have a hard time having your child sit down and do a workbook over the summer, right? They're not going to want to do that. When they're 8, it's probably easy to have them sit down and do that. But when they're 17 or 18, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. So there's a couple things that we can do. Some involve technology, some don't. The most important thing that your child can do over the summer is read, honestly. If you can get your child to read over the summer, I would consider that success. My oldest is 5, so I don't have to worry about summer learning quite yet. But I think it would be a great idea if you would whatever topic they want. They want to read about the Detroit Lions? Fine. They want to read a comic book? Fine. Anything is better than scrolling on Instagram for 8 hours a day, right? Because let's be honest, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to be out with their friends, and they're going to want to be on their phones, okay? So anything we can do to try to engage their brain academically, that's what we're looking for. So reading a book with your child, have them pick it, pretend that you're interested. If you're interested, they'll be interested, okay? I have some websites here. So this one is from the Department of Education. This is from back when we were going through the pandemic and everything was at home, and we were trying to switch from in-school learning to virtual learning. But I think some of these things still apply. So this is from the Department of Education. This is on a touch screen. So we have different things: elementary and middle school literacy, math. We have high school ELA. We have social emotional wellness. This stuff is easy to forget, social emotional wellness. But if you have kids that are anywhere from 13 to 18, you understand the pressures that they're going through as middle and high school students. And it's a lot. It's a lot to be a kid right now. It's a lot to be a kid right now. So don't glance over this just because it's not academic doesn't mean that it's not important. But some of the stuff, so if I click high school ELA, this takes me to a page that is filled with links that has different activities for them. There's writing practice. There's the Michigan e-library. There's skill practice. There's word practice. There are done in math. Right, we have different math challenges. We have different websites. We're trying to find something to engage them. You're not going to hit on everything, okay? But what we're doing, the best we can do is try. And what we want the best for our kids going into the next school year. That's all we can do. So here's another list of resources. Let me go back to my other slide. So this is through PBS. Again, I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see reading, writing, storytelling. This is for middle and high school. There's videos, there's pictures, there's different resources for all this. Math and engineering, if your kids are getting into engineering. Yeah.
Where did we get the links?
So if you want to take a picture of this, this is going to be impossible to type into your browser, but if you were to Google search like PBS Learning, right, we can find something like this. Also, if you want to write your email down, I can just email you. I can email you this entire thing. So at the end, if you want this entire show, let's just do it on the back of this. I'll just write email here. You can put your email, and I can send this out to you. So just as you're heading out, you can put your email there, and I can just send this to you. So that's a PBS resource. There's also, this one is actually a summer school program. Like an actual online courses that you would take, like if you were gonna go, if you're taking classes like college classes. That's more what this is. I haven't looked thoroughly through this, but this is a paid thing. So if you wanted to really be involved and you wanted to pay for courses for your child to go through over the summer to keep them engaged, this is an option for you also. There's also something that we use in elementary, but this goes up through high school as well. This is called Nearpod. This is an online resource that teachers use as well. They have all sorts of topics on here. This one is about the effects of TikTok and people getting banned. There was another one on there about tipping culture and how you're expected to tip at restaurants and when you go get coffee and everything. While these aren't necessarily academic topics, they are thought-provoking and it's current events, and it's sometimes we're just trying to buy lottery tickets to see what we can get our kids interested in. If they're willing to read and do an article and write about an article on TikTok, okay, that's fine, right? At least you're engaging in something. It's something that can be deemed academic. This is a short 2-minute video. Again, this was a news segment that they did on Preventing the Summer Slide. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hand it over to my friend from Access, and he's going to take it over from there. So, here we go.
But for kids, the summer often means trading textbooks for texting and school for the pool. But don't take it too easy.
Studies show kids lose between 25 and 30% of what they've learned during the school year over the
games, sleep a lot.
If it were up to
Video
them,
games,
the
sleeping.
lazy days of summer would linger on.
Ready to relax.
Summer is about kicking back, a break from school, but it's also the time when learning loss creeps in. A summer slide. And experts say the 3 skill sets that suffer are math, vocabulary, and writing.
It's kind of a use it or lose it thing. If you don't practice, you're not going to have those skills.
Trish Van Buskirk has been an educator for 4 decades. Now a Kumon instructor at Oder, she's tasked with reinforcing skills outside of the classroom.
Just like there's muscle memory for tennis or musical instruments or something, there's muscle memory for certain academic skills as well.
To avoid the summer slide, have a plan. Sit down with your kids and come up with goals like reading X number of books, working on multiplication tables. If you can already hear the whining, relax. We're talking about 30 minutes to an hour a day.
There has been a problem.
Kids should be reading every day. To extend the learning, think out of the box. They can rewrite a book into a play, cook something inspired by a book, and follow up.
If the parents excited about it, the children will be excited about it.
Use online tools as resources. Vocabulary.com compiles vocab lists for books and movies like The Avengers. And you can find unique prompt ideas on dailyteachingtools.com.
But don't let them park themselves in front of a screen for more than 2 hours, even if they're working on educational apps.
If you do math facts, for example, on like an iPad app, you're not going to retain that as well as if you did them with paper and pencil.
Studies have shown reading math-focused stories can help boost math scores in school.
How does division even work?
Playing Monopoly or Yahtzee also pushes kids to use their math skills. Take it from real kids. No one wants to be left behind when school starts.
To me, I really honestly enjoy it. I'm not overworking myself, but I still feel productive over the summer.
Gilma Avalos, CBS 11 News.
All right, something to think about there. Tomorrow in our
Okay, so you want to come get it hooked up here? Again, if you wanted to, or you want this, just before you leave, just throw your email on there, and I'll send this out to you so you can get a copy of it also. Thank you guys. Thank you. Doable? I'll try. All right.
Hello everybody, my name is Ahmed Balout. I'm from Access and I'm program coordinator and camp educator. Today we're going to talk about parenting and adolescent, setting limits and boundaries with your children. Who has teenagers? Preteens? Oh, okay, good. Everybody, wonderful. In case you don't, it's a good learning lesson. If you have little kids, that's going to grow up. Everything that the presenters before me were talking about is extremely spot on. And I'm going to elaborate more on that as we go forward in the presentation. So adolescents usually start 10 to 19, sometimes younger. You'd be surprised, some kids are a lot more mature than their age. I can speak for myself. My daughter was 8 years old. She's 18. Now she's 12. God help us. So it's I wouldn't stick to that, you know. And some actually older teenagers are younger at heart also. So that's something to keep in mind. But usually 10 to 19 years old is the actual age. A journey from child to adulthood. They go through a lot and changes physically, mentally, and socially. Pretty much they're trying to find their identity, and they pretty much are lost between different things that are going on around them. So that's something to keep in mind. Those are the most important years in their development. So what they go through at this time will make them or break them as they grow older. Okay. Can face lifelong effects from what they experience as an adolescent. So these are the most vulnerable years. These are the years that are the most important to them as they grow older, and it's kind of develop them as an adult. So I'll try to zoom through this presentation as much as you can. Please bear with me. So this is an hour, but I've shrunk it down to 20 minutes. Parenting issues during adolescence. Parents can face struggles when trying to raise their teen. During adolescence, the brain development is still incomplete. They are more vulnerable at taking part in high-risk behavior. This is completely natural. They want to test the water. They want to see how far they can get away with. They feel they're indestructible and immune to everything around them because they're so young and their hormones are kicking. So they're gonna push it. Okay, even the best of them, the most well-behaved kids, they change. Once the hormones kick in, their behavior changes. So that's something to keep in mind. Adolescents are influenced highly by their peers. So now, as they grow older, you're no longer their champion. Okay, they see us as parents, we're their champion, the end-all, be-all to everything. But now they're seeing other young adults around them, and they look up to them more than you. So you're losing your influence. So that's something to keep in mind. No matter how you try, they're growing, and we need to be very aware of that. So what helps? Thoughtful, positive parenting is needed, especially in this day and age, okay, with social media and all the influence and all the pressures, okay? Let's keep in mind, when we grew up, we didn't have social media, right? We go to school, have our friends in school, we go home, and we try to find different ways to entertain ourselves, right? We didn't go through that. Now, if they have access to social media, the problems come following them at home. So as long as there's that screen time going on, of course the teacher talking about screen time. I cannot stress how important it is. Screen time, okay? If they have access to social media with their friends, they're constantly being bombarded by information from their friends or other peers or social media in itself. Us, what happens in school stays in school, right? We go home, it's a different environment, different situation. Now it's all interactive together. So that's some, especially as they grow older as teenagers, we have to be very aware of that. Okay, parents must seek to promote a strong bond in relation with them, especially as teenagers. Okay, yes, we are their parents, but we still have to be their friends. We need to be their peers also, because they have peers in school. We need to be their peers. So they're young adults. They have their own opinion, their own outlook on things. We can't keep sheltering them. So I don't say we need to have those boundaries that we're going to talk about. Okay, so we're walking a thin line between friend and parent, right? And the teachers already talk about you're their boss, you're their boss, you're the boss. They pretty much covered a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about here. But this is all across the board. This is a big protective factor against teen taking part in high-risk behavior later on in their life. Okay? We're talking about risk behaviors. Could be anything. My work at substance use. I work with Dearborn Police, and I get, unfortunately, the end effect. Okay, risk factors. Okay, what they go through, whether it's mental health or substance use. Unfortunately, I come to them as when they're adults, and they went through all the difficulties in their life. Okay, people it's either mental health issues or things they went through that they ended up using substances. Okay, so when you have positive parenting and protective barriers and all that stuff, it kind of deviates them from such risk factors that are going to happen to them as they grow older. Okay, so responding to their needs by caring for them and spending time and energy for them. Again, what the teacher said, spend more time with them. It's extra work. And it's not easy for all of us. Some of us, both parents work. They don't have time. Even in the summertime, it's that much harder. I see in my own workplace between my coworkers. So both parents are working winter, summer, all year long. They don't have the luxury of having the time off with the kids, and they don't know what to do with their kids, right? That's another layer. But again, the more you invest with your kids, the more they're going to reap the fruits later on in their life. Extra work for us? Yes, sir.
They will allow us to do
What? Take time off work? Again, that's what I'm saying. This is another barrier for parents. I get it. I feel it. I understand you. Okay? I work all year long. I don't have the luxury. I get it. But again, we need to find new, innovative, different ways of how to spend more time with them. Let's say, for example, you come back from work, right? It's beautiful outside. Of course, the weather in Michigan doesn't allow us to enjoy, because I go to conferences all over the nation. Some of them live in Arizona, California. We live in Michigan. We get what, 3 months of period? But again, maximum. I get you. I feel you. I understand you. I'm a parent myself, and this speaks perfect explanation. Because as I go through this, it reminds me myself as a parent what I have to be aware of. Even though I educate this, I have to keep reminding myself. I need to be more proactive. Like for example, let's say you come back from work, you're tired. Okay, let's go for a walk to the park, right? That's very important to them. Okay, let's go play in the backyard. Let's go plan some trips if we can in the summertime. You know, we have to make the extra effort. And again, I do see parents that both parents work, and it's very hard for them. But then again, you're working so hard for what? For your kids, right? So let's keep that in mind also. Okay, establishing closeness by hugging them and showing them affection. Again, I use myself as an example. My daughter's growing older. Like they said, they go distance and more distance from us. I have to make the extra effort to go to her and show her affection and tell her I love you and I'm here for you. Even though she doesn't, she needs to be reminded that because they're trying to be more independent. But we have to remind ourselves that we're still here for them. Okay, as they become more and more independent, we have to be more and more their face. I'm sorry, we have to. Okay, helping them and then being independent by giving them chores and more responsibilities. I have to remind myself, my daughter's 12 years old. She's not like my 9-year-old. I have to treat her differently, on a different level, and she has more responsibilities and at the same time more freedom. Right? Sometimes we need to learn how to cut the cord a little bit and give them a little bit more leeway. Right? So the more you treat them as an adult and their opinion matter, the more they're going to respect you more also. Okay, and reassure them, your opinion does matter in this family. What do you think we should do with this certain situation that doesn't include her? Okay, doesn't involve around her. Give her more participation so she can feel more. She's accountable in the family. She's a contributor to the family, right? So if you give them or him or her, I say her because my daughter, but I'm saying if you have a boy or a girl, it's the same. The more you give them more responsibility, more say what happened in the family, the more they're going to be more involved, right? Because again, they're trying to find their place. They're trying to identify where this place in this family or in this society as a young adult, right? All right. So what's parenting is all about? Help their self-esteem by avoiding criticizing them too much and having realistic expectation what they can do. If we're always there, you're messing, you're making a mess, you're making a mess, you're making a mess. What that does to their self-esteem? It lowers it, right? We have to acknowledge what they do well all the time and reinforce it so they can grow their self-esteem. Not living in doubt. Accept your own limitation as a parent and be honest. So, we all have our own limitations, and of course, we're super dad, super mom. We don't want to show them that we're our weaknesses, right? But it's good to show them like who you truly are, so they can bond with you. And do you have limit too? We all have our limits. We can't provide everything to them, especially as they grow older. Their expenses get bigger, right? Their demands get bigger. We have to let them know this is my limit right here, honey. I'm sorry. Okay, this is life. Okay, and we need to work together, like the teacher said, expenses and how they spend their expenses. This is again, so they are aware of your financial or your physical capacity, right? They need to be aware of that. The more you shelter them, the more you're hurting them, especially in family situations. Accept your own limitations. Sometimes you may not be able to spend much time or money. Okay, honey, I work 12 hours a day, I'm so sorry. But if I have a little bit of time, we're going to spend it together. And follow up with it. Keep your promises. Always, always keep your promises. Do not make promises you cannot keep. Because that will build trust issues. Sense of connection between teens and the parents. So, important part of parent-teen relationship. Close monitoring, okay? This is an important one. Okay, we need to monitor what they're doing, who their friends are, at the same time respect their privacy. So how do we do that, right? How do we want to know everything they do, but then give them privacy? That's an impossible task. Well, you have to pick your battles, right? They're not babies anymore. You can't barge into the room and open the door, or no, you gotta knock on the door. Hey, what are you doing? But the other thing, you need to know who they're talking to, who their friends, what's their parents, who their parents are. Okay, it gives you an indication what's their influence, who their peers. Remember we're talking about peers? They look up to their peers. You need to know who are their friends, who they're talking to. Invite them over. Give them a safe space. So, and sit down with them and their friends for a little bit. You don't have to be there all day long, but introduce yourself, meet their friend, meet so you know who they're hanging out, what they're doing. Of course, you want them to be with the positive kids, with the good kids, so they can have strong foundation. And of course, you got to provide them freedom to think independently. Again, for example, like there's an issue with the family, and you need to get their input. If you think they can contribute and it's safe for them to participate, give them the right of participation. Principles of unconditional love. Again, sometimes our teens, they're going to test our boundaries, they're going to drive it off the wall. Okay? Always reassure them that you love them and you're going to be there for them. And you have to say it. And in our culture, it's very hard to express emotions. We have to. There is a lack. Again, with social media and the internet, all that makes us more distant. Okay? We need to reassure them and show them and tell them our love. Okay? It's different days nowadays. It's not actions anymore. Words are important. Support and physical contact is important. They need the reassurance. Although we are connected, we're a lot more disconnected physically. Separating the teen from their mistakes, not bribing them to be better. A lot of times, they make mistakes, right? That's part of the growth process. The growth, right? We all made mistakes as kids. We all did. I don't care what your background. We all tested the water. We all made mistakes. Sometimes it's innocent because they didn't know. They didn't know any better. They're exposed to the situation. They made the bad call and didn't know any better. Explain that to them. Don't put the whole blame on them. Okay? And another thing, bragging them to be better. Okay, if they need to be better, it's for their own good. Okay? Especially as a teenager. Maybe we used to do it as kids, for the kids. If you eat this, you get to watch TV. If you do this, now they're all young adults. They have their own mindset. And they need to understand, if you do something, you do it for your own good. I don't give you cash so you can do your homework. So, because they're teenagers. Keep a close watch. Again, we're going back to the close watch and monitoring. You need to know who they're hanging out with, who they're talking to, right? What places they're hanging out with, all right? The social media, who they're in contact with on social media. Okay, this is a whole different subject we can cover. Keep communications open with them. Hey, what are you doing today? What are you up to? Who you talk to? You know, with the schools and teachers. Again, I appreciate every single parent that showed up to these presentations. That shows you are involved. That shows that you care, and that shows that you're willing to learn and adapt. Okay, parenting, what it used to be back in the day, is completely different what we're dealing with right now. It's a whole different monster. Okay, back in the day, we used to tell them, please come home, right? Please get inside. Nowadays, please get out of the house, right? It's different. It's completely different. Okay, it's a different monster. That, okay, we all used to watch TV. Come here, watch TV, right? Get out of the outside. Now, please get out. Please go back and get off your phone, please, right? So that's something to be aware of. Parenting is completely different what it used to be. We have to be open for different ways of parenting. Okay? Not everybody's born to be a parent, right? We all make mistakes as parents also. I'm an educator, I still make mistakes. Tomorrow, I'm going to make another mistake. You bet. So, but this is the truth, because I see the worst and I see the best. Of course. This is the truth. This is the truth of parenting. We all want our kids to be best We all want to be the best parents for our kids because this is the only human you create with no strings attached, right? All you want them to be better. That's all you want from them, okay? But we still make mistakes. But we need to learn from them. We need to be open for new suggestions, new ways, and because society nowadays is completely different. Society was different before COVID. Now it's complete. This is within like 2-3 years margin, right? And then 10 years ago was different. Then 10 years before that was different. We have to change and adapt. Okay. Discipline. Explain. This is a good one. Discipline will still be there. Okay. But then again, you can't treat your teen what you treat your little kid. Go to your room or on timeout. Can you imagine the kid will be like, "You're funny," right? Different types of different leverage. That's up to you guys and your dynamics at the house and what type of relationship, religion that you guys have. I leave that up to you. But again, keep in mind, this is a teenager you're working with. Okay? Their emotions are high. Boys or girls, they're going through hormone change. Sometimes they'll be happy, some might be talking to them, they just start crying. If they're going through the teen. Sometimes they won't show you emotion, they'll just go separately and cry inside by themselves. You have to be in tune and aware of that because all their emotions are inside. We need to be very careful with the mental health situation. Okay? Use punishment in appropriate amounts. Don't overdo it because sometimes we're so frustrated we lose it, right? Again, we make mistake, we learn, push the reset button, start all over, right? Authoritative parenting style where you are nurturing and supportive, yet firm, set the limits. This is a complete no. Why? 1, 2, 3. Be honest and open about it. Okay? Tell them why. Don't say, oh, this is no, that's it. No. If you don't know, get educated on it. And do it with them. I have a lot of resources. I highly recommend you guys with your kids to go over it with them. The substances, vaping is bad for you. Okay? We teach in the school vaping, right? They sit to the class, they listen about it, then they go on to their business, right? And then if it's at home with the parents, this is what happens when you vape. This is a side effect. You guys will learn about it. Hookah, cigarettes, alcohol, you name it. It's all out there for parents and kids to go and browse and learn. Usually it's simple ignorance where a kid gets stuck in a certain situation. Most of the time. All right? Set your limits. You are still a parent, remember that. But again, you need to have a line of confidence with them. They need to know they can come to you when something goes wrong. Don't wait, and not them, you finding out from a teacher or a police officer or a parent friend. You guys need to build that trust with them so when there's something gets really hard, they need to come to you. And when it's not too late, they need that. You explain rules and listen to your child's viewpoint. Give them a say. It's very hard for me because I talk a lot. But I have to remind myself I need to stop talking and let my kid talk so I can listen to him or her what they're trying to say. That's very important. Give them room to talk and express themselves in a non-judgmental way. How to set boundaries and limits. This is the thin line we're talking about, right? Maintain empathy for your teen. So, be empathetic, be sensitive to them. Remember, we are all teenagers, we were all kids one day, right? We all made mistakes, and we all kept secrets from my parents, right? We all did that. We have to remind ourselves how it used to be for us as teenagers. How did we feel? Okay? Maintain your teen's privacy. You can keep watching them or allowing them their space. It is better to have teens that feel safe enough at home, okay, than outside of the house or being around their peers. Okay, versus teen that is afraid to mess up, then potentially come to you when it's too late. Okay, allow for natural consequences. It might be tough. This is the thing. Like I have to tell my cousins and my friends my age, let your kids make a mistake. if it's small, let him learn from it. Okay? Let him problem solve or her problem solve. Okay? They need to. Okay, let's say they're doing the dishes, they can't figure it out, right? Just watch them for a minute. Let them problem solve. Don't get frustrated. It's like, here, this is how I do it. Let them figure it out. Just simple things, right? Or you're fixing something and you're asking, let's say I'm working on a tool and I ask my daughter's son, hey, pass me this tool. Okay, and just wait. I know you're trying to get stuff done, you're trying to move on to the next task, but if you're inviting them to an activity with you, let them problem solve and be very, very patient. I know it's hard. I know. So let them develop their problem solving. Let them problem solve. Let them figure things out. Let them learn how to make their own sandwich, cook their own egg. Do all those things for themselves because eventually they're going to have to learn it, right? So let them problem solve. Give them the room to grow and think. They might come out with better solutions than myself. I'd be surprised. My younger one, she always come out with real different things, doing things, and it's extremely surprising. It's better than I did it. So they're very smart.
Everybody has a gift.
Exactly. You can offer them support and guidance. Once they give up, Daddy, I need help. Okay, here you go. This is how you do it. But give them the room to experience and develop and have their own critical thinking. Be firm and consistent. Consistency. This is very hard. Being consistent at the right time. Okay, so for example, I have you do your chores. If you don't do your chores, you can't get on your phone, right? Whatever the dynamics. Daddy, I didn't do my chores today. Can I get on my phone? No. So, please, no. Do your chores, I'm doing it. I didn't have time. I don't care. You don't need your phone. You have a whole house full of toys. Go play. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Consistency is very, very, very important because then it becomes automatic for them and then it becomes easier on you as a parent because then they know better not to try again and ask you. They know I have to do my chores before I use my get on electronics. That is very hard, but consistency is very, very important at the beginning, but then later on it makes your life easier. Okay? Anybody does not understand what consistency means? You guys all understand it? This is very, very, very important. And the younger you start, the easier it gets as they grow older. Okay? What I do, I make them sign a contract. I write down the rules and regulations depending on the season, and then they read it, and then they sign it. And now, set in stone, right? So, this is a trick. Those are different tricks you can do. All right? So, some people, they put it on, I use all different ways. I put posters on the wall. Don't go out before you wear a sweater. It's winter, right? Now, this time, a lot of kids are getting sick, right? The weather goes up and down, up and down. Half the kids are sick because they come home to school early in the morning when it's 30 degrees with their little t-shirts. So I write it down from here to the summer. Put a sweater on before you go out. So when she goes out the door, it's right there in her face. Different tricks you can do. And it's written down, they know. And it teaches them and later on how to respect contracts, how to follow up and show up on time to work and school, right? If the earlier you start, the more you put it ingrained with them. All right? Keep the bigger picture in mind. This is very important. Try to remind your team the bigger picture. Explain everything to them. This is the end result. You're doing 1, 2, 3 to get there. So they can remind you. As adults, we always forget the big picture. Right? We're so caught up with the day-to-day. I'm on survival mode. Today's my Friday. There's 20 things going on. And then after that, the day is done. I have to sit down and reset. Okay, now what? Right? But then I have to remind myself, like us as parents are putting all this pressure on you guys on top of everything else. Mental health for parents is important. Spending time on yourself is important also. Right? And again, you need to dedicate a little bit of minute so you can reflect, so you can be a more effective parent and a person, or a husband or a wife, right? That's the big picture for everybody. Remember your own adolescent years. Remember how it used to be as you as a teenager. Again, things are different for us. But again, we all went through changes. We all had to shape our personality depending on the events that happened to us. Some people have harsher life than others. I cannot speak for you or you or you or you. You probably had a harsher life than I did. Some people went through war. Some people went through hard things going on at their house. Who knows, right? You need to keep that in mind. I cannot say what works for me works for you or her. But remember how it was for you as a teenager growing up and what you went through. Listen more than you talk. That's very hard for me. But I try. I have to listen to them. I have to give them room to express themselves. Teach them the importance of taking responsibility and about the joys of trouble. And life is hard. And the more they understand that and they can thrive, the thing I teach kids about coping, okay? When we go and teach kids, we teach life skills in school here for our students, right? My main thing is coping. Coping is when you adapt to situations that happen around you, right? There are certain things you cannot control, and you have to adapt. For example, COVID, right? What did you do as a parent when COVID hit? I'm a prepper. A prepper is somebody that prepares for the worst thing that happened by nature. I don't have like a million guns at home or ammo, but I keep up with the news and see what happens. So I adapted. I made my home like, okay, I work this is my work area, my wife's work area, my kids' work area. I'm pretty sure some of you guys did that, right? It's called coping. So I adapted to the situation that happened around me. Not every day gonna be suns and flowers and sunshine and routine. Anything could happen at any given time. So the younger they learn how to cope and adapt, no matter what life throws at them, they're gonna learn how to, as the best they can, to cope. And of course, there's some things gonna help, but the younger they learn how to adapt and change, the easier the life gonna be, and the more successful they're gonna be. Okay. Remember, your adolescent year. There goes again. All try new experiences and make some mistakes. We all make mistakes. We already covered that. Give them help to make the right decision, but again, give them room to problem solve. The younger they learn, for example, simple thing. The toddler, don't sit and shove the spoon in their face. Give them their food and let them play and make a mess. And I know for some of us it's hard. Let them play, feed themselves, right? From a toddler, right? And this goes on through stages of their life. I know it's very hard, they're gonna make a mess, but that's part of them touching and feeling and experiencing things, right? This is a simple example as a baby. And as they grow older, you need to give them more ways to express themselves and experience and learn and problem solve. Close monitoring and good communication helps with this. So keep an eye on them. Don't give them a plastic knife and a fork and think it's okay and let them. No, just sit next to them, watch them, right? Keep an eye on them, but let them problem solve. Don't leave them alone, especially if they're working with some dangerous tools or items, right? Keep an eye on them, and then eventually they're going to come to you if they need help. Being a good parent doesn't mean being perfect, right? We already covered that. So we all get angry, we all get frustrated. Even sometimes it's not their fault. It's stuff that goes on and piles up, and then the one thing that they do makes us explode, right? Unfortunately, they're right there in front of us. They're the easiest person, the easiest target, and we lose our stuff. That happens. It happens to all of us. But again, the more you're aware of it, the less it happens. Okay, and that doesn't make you bad parents because we're humans. We're not robots. We're all humans. This helps your team, and when we make mistakes, I tell them, I'm sorry, baby. I exploded at you. I had a hard day, and I shouldn't do that. She understands that it's not her fault. She understands that me, as her dad, I have to apologize for her. Because if you don't, and you keep that, they're gonna condition them to take it, and that's okay. If my dad yells at me, explodes at me, even the sons. I'm not saying boys or girls, it's the same. If my dad explodes at me for something that's not my fault, and that's okay, no, it's not okay. They need to know, and what you invest in your son or daughter makes them create healthy relationship with their spouse as they grow older also. Help your teen understand how to manage emotions and fit relationship with the right social skills. As adults, we struggle with that. I say it, right? As I went through school, went through law enforcement career, I keep adapting and changing, and I keep learning from because nobody's perfect. You have to keep changing and adapting. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what background you are. It doesn't matter. Always learn your social skills and teach your kids at the same time. I guess this is it. This is the end of my presentation.
So if you guys make sure you sign in if you didn't, and then if you want an email of the slideshow from Ms. Ahmed and I and Ms. Al-Wahab, put your email here and I'll send it out to you. Food, drinks in the back, and thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. So appreciate you. If you have any questions, I'll leave my email here. You guys, I'll be more than happy. I am part of the Substance Use Mental Health Program at Access. We do offer a lot of services for adults and kids. Therapy, okay? If you know anybody that's struggling with depression or anxiety, I'd be more than happy. It's very discreet. We respect people's privacy. It's our job, so.
Yeah, well, we should have our email.
Yes, please. Leave your emails, and I'll leave mine also, and we can share the.
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM-certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Noor International Academy in Sterling Heights at niapsa.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at starpsa.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at universalpsa.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ulapsa.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.